For months we have waited. Over the course of 13 events these teams have competed, and it all comes down to this. 11 teams still with a chance of winning coming into this much-anticipated brand new final event. The question now becomes, who will win? This is Professor CC19, and welcome to the final Event 14 and closing ceremonies of the 2019 Summer Marble Algolympics, the Giant Maze. And as I zoom out, you can take a look at our brand new final event. The Giant Maze is designed to not only be pleasing to the eye, as it is almost perfectly symmetrical, but also to be a grand final challenge. Both physically and mentally, it is a big course, so the teams need speed, endurance, and a lot of strategy to navigate through the maze. Some paths are better than others, but there's one very important section right at the end. There's not a heck of a lot of pathways in this final little section here, but the final decision is very important. Go to the left. As you can see, it's red, and it corresponds to the red up here. You're going to have to go back around and try that final decision again. The only place to finish is where it says finish on the right side. It's a maze. There's good paths and there are bad paths. The top 4 to finish in each group of 8 in round 1 will advance through to the final. That will be our top half. And the bottom half teams are based on finishing times. So that is the most important section, but we have a lot of things to get through before we get to that section. The first thing is finding out who is competing here in quarterfinal, well, technically semifinal Heat A. It is round 1, but we only have 2 rounds in this event. 3 matches in total. Coolment of the Minter-Greens, Conqueror of the Crimson Crusaders, T-Red of Team Transparent, Deco of the Grayscales, P of Team Neon, Jest of Jack's Jokers, Glimmer of Gold Globes, and King of Azure Royals are the teams competing here in our first match. Now, let's break it down. Gold Globes are the most important team to watch, so all eyes, especially of the middle ground teams, are going to be on Gold Globes to see if they do advance. If Gold Globes do advance through to the final, then we have narrowed it down to our top 7 with a chance of winning. If Gold Globes finish higher than 8th place, we've narrowed it down to our top 5. And if Gold Globes finish on the podium in our final event, it is down to our top 3. And what makes it even more interesting is that the top 3 teams are all in this heat. Gold Globes, Azure Royals, and Grayscales. So this heat is arguably more important than what will happen in Heat B with some of the middle ground teams. And of course there are 5 teams that cannot win. We know already Minter-Greens, Crimson Crusaders, and Jack's Jokers are the 3 that cannot win running here in Heat A. But regardless, all of these teams are going to be trying their hardest to earn a medal here in the final event. Some for the pride of earning a medal, and others for a chance at winning the entire 2019 Games. It's time to find out our first group of finalists. In 3, 2, 1, go! All 13 events have led up to this point, and shockingly, almost three-quarters of the teams still with a chance of winning. Now you also have to consider the psyche of the teams that can't win. Is it still worth going all out for a medal in the final event, even when you're interfering with some of the teams that are playing for a higher goal? Well, it looks like Jack's Jokers and Minter-Greens are going with the pure speed strategy off towards the right side. In fact, a lot of these teams taking the far right path. Crimson Crusaders, Jack's Jokers, and Grayscales, but the other teams, higher in the overall standings, are going for strategy. And we're seeing an out-and-out battle between Gold Globes and Azure Royals. They both have a huge lead over everyone else, but they were riding in those middle lanes, and they found that center shortcut. That is the element of strategy, and some paths being better than others. In the meantime, 2 of the teams that cannot win are close behind them. We have Jack's Jokers and Minter-Greens. For Minter-Greens, it's probably going to be about earning a medal, because they're one of only 2 teams this year, even with the extended games, that have not earned any medals. The other is Yellowfellows. They will run in a few minutes. But we'll see here who can advance through to the final in our first group. Gold Globes. They're going to be the first team, it looks like, to attempt the final section, depending on what Azure Royals do. Looks like they have the best chance. They're in the best position. But it's going to come down to this, Gold Globes. If they can ride their momentum back to the right side, and it looks like they can. Gold Globes are through to the final, and Azure Royals, do the exact opposite and are going to be out. Well, not out yet. They are not going to finish that time around, though, and Mintergreens are going to claim that second spot in the next round. We'll see who else. Team Transparent and Jack's Jokers all missing. Now Team Transparent just is able to ride the momentum back, and we're watching the Grayscales. They're taking the last spot, and Azure Royals is going to be out. Azure Royals coming in 5th place with a good time, but they are not going to win the 2019 Algolympics. For the second year in a row, it looks like they will finish on the podium, but heartbreaking news, Azure Royals will not be your 2019 Algolympics champions, even though they were one of the fan favorites teams. We have Crimson Crusaders coming in with Conqueror right behind them. Well done to them this year for doing much better, for having a better team dynamic, and for Conqueror to be such a strong team captain. New this year for them. Jack's Jokers coming in 7th, Team Neon 8th. But we have our finalists. 1st and 3rd coming into this event, Gold Globes and Grayscales. Like I've said from the start, the 2 G teams that were going to be contenders coming into this year are probably going to be our top 2. Now, it is also going to depend on what happens in Heat B, who advances. Mintergreen still can't win. They still can't make it out of 16th place, but they are in our final. Team Transparent is the other team in the final round. They do still have a chance of winning, only if Gold Globes finishes in 8th. But now it's time to turn our attention through to round 2. Remember, the bottom half spots are based off time, so that also will be something to watch. But let's move to our second group in round 1. All right, now we have our lineup for Heat B. Flame of the Fireballs, Upstream, team captain of Strawberry Streamers, On the Money of the O-Raiders, Gloomy of the Black Knights, Sunspot of the Mystic Twisters, Violet of the Ultraviolets, Icicle of the Icers, and Feller of the Yellowfellas. And with Gold Globes advancing through to the final, only 3 teams in this heat still have a chance of winning. Fireballs, O-Raiders, and Ultraviolets. Fireballs and Team Transparent are 2 teams on the bubble. So the 2 main contenders, the 2 main marbles to watch, are going to be On the Money and Violet, O-Raiders, and Ultraviolets. Let's get started in Heat B. In 3, 2, 1, go. A moment ago, we had 6 teams in this heat that could still win. Now we only have 3. 2 main ones, and the Fireballs, last year's champions, who are not likely to get a repeat championship this year. However, it is still possible mathematically. Looks like Yellowfellas with Feller are going to be the last team to get going out of the starting gates. Mystic Twisters and Sunspot giving a big shove to Icers down the right side. Looks like we have 2 teams that have found that center line. Fireballs and Ultraviolets. O-Raiders in the meantime way off towards the left. Yellowfellas still running a slow race, so are Mystic Twisters. And Fireballs actually doing a great job. Even though their chances of winning are fairly small, they're trying to make sure they advance to at least keep those chances alive. And Ultraviolets, also very important that they advance. They're sitting in 5th place going into this event, but they were a part of the top 5 that really did have a strong chance. Black Knights, they've gone through a lot this season. They're hoping to get another medal to add to their collection this year to potentially tie Azure Royals for the most medals won in a single season. And kind of getting a logjam there with Yellowfellas and the other teams towards the back. I'm going to turn my attention back towards the front here. A little hard to say that right. But still, Ultraviolets and Fireballs, the top 2 teams in this heat, pretty clear. But in our last heat, Gold Globes and Azure Royals were the top 2 all the way to the end, and then Azure Royals gave out they could not advance. However, we already have one of those 2 who has. Fireballs are through to the finals. We'll see. Their hope of a repeat championship is still alive, technically. Black Knights, adjusting to a new team dynamic this year, it is going to work out for them. Gloomy is through to the final also, and Ultraviolets. Watching Strawberry Streamers on the right, that is the right path for them. But is it going to be enough? No! Yellowfellas beating them at the last moment, and Yellowfellas are also through to the final. Well, that is important because O-Raiders are going to be out. Mystic Twisters, they're coming through next. But O-Raiders were one of the teams in the top 5. They were sitting in 4th, And we know that they are not going to be your champions now. Icers, Fireballs, longtime rivals. It looks like the rivalry will end in defeat for the Icers. It looks like they're going to finish in 13th place this season. Actually, no, they have to guard against the Yellowfellas. Raiders going to come in 7th. Icers still on the course. They have to be careful not to come in last place, balancing on top there. And Icers finally going to finish this course. All right, so we have our results. Fireballs, Black Knights, Ultraviolets, and Yellowfellas are through to the final to join the 4 teams from Heat A. So before we get to the final, I'm going to go back and analyze the footage for all the teams that did not advance, and then we can get to our final race. At this point, it is going to be a 3-way main battle between Gold Globes, Grayscales, and Ultraviolets to find out who will be the 2019 Algolympics champions. All right, it is coming down to this, the final race of the 2019 games. Black Knights, Mintergreens, Fireballs, Gold Globes, Yellowfellas, Team Transparent, Grayscales, and Ultraviolets. The main 3 to watch are Glimmer, Deco, and Violet, Gold Globes, Grayscales, and Ultraviolets. It's very likely that in about 3 minutes, one of them will be crowned 2019 Algolympics champions. Fireballs and Team Transparent are still alive, but they are going to need some extraordinary luck if they hope to win. But it's time to find out who the winners in 2019 will be. The final begins in 3, 2, 1, go! I remember beginning the new season in 2019 about 2 months ago with a brand new event in rock climbing. Appropriately, the season is also ending with a brand new event. One that's been pretty exciting so far. It looks like Gold Globes leaders coming into this event are first out of the starting gates. They go off to the far right side. Looks like Black Knights and Ultraviolets look to join them. Both of them do. At this point, nobody has found that center column, the shortcut. It looks like Team Transparent is the first to find it. Fireball's very slow out of the starting gates, and they're not going to make up any ground in that center column. So at this point, it is Team Transparent and T-Red with the lead, using strategy. But Gold Globes were fairly quick with speed, unlike in round 1 where they used strategy. And going back and forth, Team Transparent will keep the lead. Now all of a sudden, Gold Globes getting nudged aside by some of these other teams. But they still hold on to second place. Now Yellowfellas and Mintergreen swarming them in that center divider. Also, Ultraviolets and Grayscales a little bit farther behind. Fireball's still in last place. Kind of disappointing for them at the end of the season. We see here, Grayscales, the only team of those top 3 that goes towards the left side. Gold Globes go off towards the right, but they have a good advantage. Advantage in time. If Gold Globes beats Ultraviolets and Grayscales, then it's over. They will cement their place in Algolympics history as the first rookie team to win. Team Transparent is going to be the first team to come down here. They're going off towards the left side. That's not good for them. Gold Globes almost had it towards the right. Can't quite make it, though. But can they go back? Gold Globes very close. They have it. We have a new rookie champion. Gold Globes are the winners of the 2019 Summer Marble Algolympics. Ultraviolets coming through with the silver. Black Knights ending their season with back-to-back bronze. Here we have Grayscales coming through in 4th. They're going to just miss the podium. Here comes Team Transparent in 5th. Mintergreens and Yellowfellas both going to miss the podium. Disappointment for them. But still, Mintergreens one of their best finishes. 10 points for 6th. Yellowfellas 7th. And Fireballs coming through a few seconds back. Everyone was fairly quick in this race. 8 points and 8th place. But that is it. We have our champions. Gold Globes are the first ever rookie team to win the Algolympics. And with 2 gold medals to finish off the year, what a spectacular win it is. 163 points, a dominant victory over the second place team. We still have to look through the point standings to find out who came in 2nd and 3rd. Black Knights also very good, 2 bronze to finish off the year. But that is going to be a record. Gold Globes with the most and highest medals in one season. 3 gold, the first team ever to have that, and appropriate for their team, and 2 silver. We can take a look at the standings for this event before we get to the overall standings in the closing ceremony. And here are the results of our final event. The podium looks very similar to the podium from our last event, Team Pursuit, with Gold Globes winning gold and Black Knights winning bronze, but this time Ultraviolets was the team that was able to come through with the silver, their third silver medal this season. Also for the third time this season, and part of their consistency, Grayscale's just barely missing the podium, but still getting a nice points haul with 12. Team Transparent, Mintergreens, Yellowfellas, and Fireballs rounding out our top half. Pardon a bit of background noise, unexpected, I know, but we also have our bottom half, which was based on time, Strawberry Streamers, Azure Royals, Mystic Twisters, Crimson Crusaders, then Jack's Jokers, Orators, Team Neon, and the slowest time was by Icers. They're going to come in last place in our last event. But that is it for the 2019 Algolympics. We now have a new champion in Gold Globes, and we're going to get things ready for the closing ceremony. But before we go there, I want to say thank you so much for watching over the past few months. It has been an exciting journey. If you like Algodoo content, don't worry, I have more coming out before we get to the 2020 Algolympics next summer. I know it sounds like it's too early to start talking about that, but it will indeed be back with new teams and probably a new style of competition. Anyway, leave a comment below cheering on your favorite team, being excited if you won these games. I know Gold Globes was one of the fan favorites. And also coming soon, back to my usual Candy Crush content with a series of videos covering levels that have changed. But now it's time for the closing ceremony. This has been Professor CC19. Thank you so much for watching over the course of the Algolympics 2019.